Total Sports Talk and Entertainment here again with another one. And be sure to hit the like and the sub, comment, notifications, do all that good stuff. You know, the fact that ESPN is crumbling right now this isn't anything new. Uh, if you want to talk about the situation that took place with Maria Taylor and Rachel Nichols, uh, we could talk about the Sage Steele incident. Not only Sage Steele being booted, but also Sage Steele trying to do some underhanded stuff when it came to Ellie Duncan. And then on top of that, the the laying off of a lot of employees that had taken place too, that nobody tends to bring up. And now everybody acts like this is such a big surprise when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, when it really isn't. In first take, you know, ESPN has been declining for a long time. Okay, we could date back all the way to to last year, and even before that. You know, I'm gonna get to first take in just a second, but at one time, first take was the highest rated ESPN studio show all day. You know, um, it was I think it was ranked like 93rd at one point, and you know, believe it or not, it was I think it was Nick Cannon and Wildin' Out that was up there with it. A lot of people wouldn't expect that, but it was that show that was right up above them. Um, and then because see the shows that ended up leaping first take were shows that nobody were looking at first. At first, Get Up had 136,000 viewers. This was in June of last year. Okay, and then it was Sports Center. They had 168,000 viewers, and then it was the Jump. The Jump at 112,000 viewers. ESPN at one point they were at a little over 200,000. They were at 211,000. And then you had Highly Questionable that was 151,000. And then you had Around the Horn at 175,000. You know, and then Jalen and Jacoby at one point, and I'm talking 2020 now. They was at 122. But then, you know, Undisputed came about, and they just came when Skip Bayless went over there to Fox Sports Network. They came over there and they just straight up killed first take ratings. Now, Stephen A. Smith is gonna get up there, and I think he came when on an interview and he said, we're doing great. We haven't failed. We're still the number one leader, worldwide leader, and all that other stuff. I remember it was an interview when they had asked him if there was any friction between him and Skip and all that other stuff. Listen, they're gonna send every type of smoke screen that there is to think that everything is all fine and dandy, but that was not the case. That wasn't the case. And see, what y'all have to realize is that this isn't just first take. Sports as a whole, the ratings have been down. Okay, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, um, it had not been down that long last year in like 41 years. And the reason is because we have to face the fact it's not just first take. ESPN is dead as a whole. We don't want to believe that, but FS1 is killing the game right now. Fox Sports Network, everybody has went over there. Now uh, I don't really get into the conservative and liberal thing, but some people do. But that has a lot to do with it. And then if you want to just go ahead and you want to tackle the first take situation, that's fine. We could go ahead and do that too. Okay, we could do that too. Uh, Stephen A. Smith, you know, nobody nobody wants to hear just one person dominate a conversation all the time. And nobody wants to hear just one person winning a debate or supposedly winning a debate all the time or feeling like they want a debate all the time. That doesn't sit well with the people. You know, we can say what we want. Some people might deny it. Some people may say that okay, well that's just fabricated and all this other stuff. The ratings really did take a tremendous drop when Max did leave. Now, some people may sit there and say, like, well, why would they take a hit since the departure of Max Kellerman? Believe it or not, Max Kellerman was very valuable than what more people think that he was, because Max Kellerman, even though he might not have been the most exciting counterpart with Stephen A. Smith, he still brought a lot of intellect to the show, more so than Stephen A. Smith did. I know some of y'all think that Stephen A. Smith comes off as a knowing everything and stuff like that, but really that's just sometimes emotion and yelling and stuff like that. That catches attention more so than somebody that's just having a normal, yeah, a normal dialogue and saying all these intelligent things, but he's actually hitting on facts. Even though some of Mac's takes were like, man, what are you talking about? But even still, Max was hitting on some facts. Now, was he as knowledgeable about the game of basketball as Stephen A. Smith? No, and that's in part to Stephen A. Smith's coverage more than Max. You don't see Max at the sidelines of a basketball game. You don't see, uh, Max on NBA Countdown or any of these other basketball shows. You see him doing uh, boxing or shows like Around the Horn or these other shows. And this is another thing. See, a shout out to I think it was somebody, because Ticket had brought this up too, but it was somebody in Ticket's channel. Shout out to Pro Basketball Updates, and Ticket goes up to his channel. But somebody had made the reference that Max was uh was boring, but I wouldn't say, this is my opinion. It's not that he's boring. He's just not cut out to be in a debate. You know what I'm saying? He's not cut out to be in a debate. If if you put Max like in the position that he's in right now at this point in time, then yeah, with Keyshawn and Jay Will, he's a better fit in that like as a host or being on around the horn or doing something like that. He's not he's not really his style of debating isn't trying to get on there and demolish the competition or cook or barbecue somebody. What's up with the big who? You know, it's just that he has a different delivery than most people. Now, if you bring up a guy like Damian Woody or somebody like that, that's gonna really challenge Stephen A. Smith at in a way that some people like, yeah, yeah, or even though Michael Irvin. Now I know some people they still want to hear the essence of a good debate in terms of logic. They still want to do it. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm I like the excitement that Michael Irvin brings. I like the excitement that like a guy like Damian Woody brings and stuff like that. But if you really listen to Max and you really sat back and listen, which a lot of people don't, they just want to they want to see people get heightened level and lose their emotions and screaming and yelling at each other and all this other stuff. That's what they want to see, unfortunately. But if you really listen to Max and listen to his arguments and really comprehend, you'll see that a lot of times Max was getting the better of Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith would come with low blows and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to get off key, and I'm not trying to get off of uh, off of subject. You know, this was the ratings at one point, okay? And some people they don't want to go with the numbers, but you know, I'm not an analytics guy, but in this case, you got to go by the numbers. First Take was dead last behind shows like PTI, um, Around the Horn, NFL Live, and Get Up. Let's do it like this. Let's start with this. PTI, they led the pack. Believe it or not, pardon the interruption. Which I'm gonna be real with you. I like Will Bond. You know what I'm saying? Some people feel like he's a coon and everything, but I I like Will Bond. I'm not trying to get into the personal stuff or anything like that. You don't see Will Bond uh, doing as much stuff as Stephen A. Smith is and stuff. But PTI was at 652,000. Um, Around the Horn was at 469K. NFL Live was at 413K, which is going to be up anyways because of the NFL season. Get Up was at 408K, and First Take was at 398K. That Get Up is not too far ahead, but still they're still leading them right now. You know, and see, a lot of people don't want to talk about this since Max had joined Keyshawn Johnson and Jay Will on the morning show. That their ratings have went up. Now, I'm not gonna say it's as high as First Take, but they went up. ESPN has been crumbling, man. It's been crumbling. People are not happy. What's up with the Scrub Zero? People are not happy with with ESPN as a whole. Like I said, the whole Sage Steele situation. This isn't anything new. This isn't anything new. You know, uh, it according to Newsweek, you know, the poll showed that 34%. 34% watch less sports over social justice messages. You know, and that had to do a lot with the NBA ratings. You know, and this was according to Newsweek. It said according to the poll, 11% of people said that they have watched more sports as a result of social justice messaging, and 56.3% said that they have watched the same amount. But looking at different political party affiliation, 19% of Democrats said that they have watched less sports in light of social justice messaging, while 13.7% said that they have watched more. And 53% of Republicans said that they have watched less sports due to social justice messaging, and just 8.6% said that they have watched more. Now let's just stop it right there, okay? And I'll get to the gender in just a second. See, I had just mentioned that. I had just mentioned that. Uh, One thing that the homie Two Raw had brought up, and if you haven't subbed to Two Raw for TV, definitely go sub to his page. Always bringing dope content. Two Raw for sports, Two Raw for TV, Two Raw classics, politically incorrect. He brings up the spectrums, which is very important. And see, that's why I just mentioned just a few minutes ago about the liberal and the conservative side of things. A lot of people have shifted over to different networks. Where you see that was conducive of what I just read. People, the only thing that ESPN has to go on is talking about social justice issues and talking about all these different other stuff instead of getting to sports. And they were doing that for quite some time. And when you talk about the SEC networks, when you talk about Fox Sports Network, stuff like that, they're tuning in more because they see that, okay, the viewership is coming is coming in reference to the sports, not to be talking about just social issues, talking about BLM and all this other stuff, which we understand. But people want to get away from that sometimes. We know everything is going bad in the country right now, or not the way that we want it to. We know that things aren't what we call normal. It's the new normal and everything. But people trying to get away from that. People don't want to. Listen, as much as I love Kyrie in terms of a basketball player and everything like that, ESPN they not trying to push that. They trying to push Kyrie. Oh yeah, he's a distraction, or because of the juice and all this other stuff. They don't want to talk about anything else, and they don't want to dig in deep about certain things. So it's not surprising in that aspect, if you look at that, why ESPN is falling off. Now, the poll, in reference to the poll, according to Newsweek, the poll also found that men were likely to watch less sports as a result of social justice efforts, as 36% said so, comparing to 28% of women. According to the poll, 13% of men and 7% of women said that they have watched sports. You know, um, the poll's findings came as TV ratings for a majority of sports, including the NBA, declined in 2020, and at the start of the 2021 season, Nielsen Media research data showed that NBA viewership for nationally televised games on TNT, ABC, and ESPN was up 34% compared to the same 27 game period from last season. But while the league saw an increase in TV viewership at the start of the season, it has since declined. And this was last year. So y'all like, why are you bringing this up? Because that was already conducive of what was getting ready to come. That was and I think what really poured gasoline on the fire, so to speak, is the Rachel Nichols incident that happened with what you did with Maria Taylor. That further did everything, and then that's when you just begin to see ESPN just starting to clean house. Now, I know that the guy had came in there and was trying to make some major changes and everything, but I think Ticket is right, man, when he says that Stephen A. he's gone, and he happens to be the elephant in the room. Okay, he's not the only one. Stay still with the elephant in the room, and so was Rachel Nichols. The good people that were on there, like a Maria Taylor or um, like a Ellie Duncan and a couple others, Malika Andrews. Those are the people that are actually keeping the network keeping the network going. And shoot, if you want to throw Max in there too, but when you do wrong and you do people wrong, just like you know Stephen A. had did all that stuff, saying that stuff about Kwame Brown and the stuff that Sage Steele had did to Ellie Duncan, trying to go behind her back and backstab her and do stuff like that. That stuff comes back to haunt you. It comes back to haunt you. And now you seeing that now, a lot of people. I've talked all you saw in the chat where I went to different chats and different panels. They say they don't watch First Take no more, or they watch Undisputed. They rather watch the SEC network, or they rather watch the FSN. They're over ESPN. This ain't anything new. This isn't anything new, and you could tell they're doing anything. They'll try to reach and grab guests and all this other stuff, to try to heighten the excitement of the show and all this other stuff. But they know it's dying. And see, the thing about with Undisputed is winning right now because not only do you have Undisputed, but Club Shay Shay is tearing things up. And now we got to wonder what's going to happen with Knuckleheads and that podcast because I think they were number one, and I think it was Up in Smoke with Matt Barnes, and then Club Shay Shay has I think leapfrogged, and because Club Shay Shay, you say what you want. If you don't like Shannon Sharp, man, he be having guests, and not only does he have guests, he has every type of sport, and when you talk about entertainment too. So he's versatile too, and see, versatility is very important. That's why I do respect Shannon Sharp. I don't see Shannon Sharp as a coon. I know some people do. I don't see him as a coon. I just think that some of the stuff that he does, what I'm saying, he's just doing that just to garnish attention and stuff like that. But I feel like Shannon Sharp is as real as they come. But the one thing that I respect him about is that he's able to cross over and do both. There's some guys that can't really do that. And some guys will act like they know more than others, but they really don't. So this isn't anything new. If everybody's acting like, oh yeah, oh my God, I can't believe this and stuff like that, man, I was never ever surprised about this stuff that's happening. And I said, look, it's gonna come, it's gonna start crumbling one by one, you know. And see, you got other guys that's going over there to Fox Sports and stuff like that, like Chris Broussard and uh, you know, uh, what's that dude name, man? I always used to go with Stephen A. Smith all the time. Um, I always forget his name, but he went over there. He went over there to Fox Sports too. He used to have his own radio show and everything. But I forget his name. Maybe somebody can help me out with it. But he went over there. A lot of other people have went over there. Then of course, ESPN didn't want to give Maria the bag. They wanted to shortchange her. Then she left. She got out of there when it's great. Now she got the bag over there at NBC, doing way better. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of NBC, but say nothing new. And watching more stuff is gonna come out too. More people gonna be gone. More changes. Yeah, ESPN ain't the world. Like, nah, yeah, well, Rob Parker, but I forget the other guy, man. Oh, Will Kane. Thank you, Scrub Zero. Thank you, man. Will Kane. Even though Will Kane, he's on the other end of the spectrum, but Will Kane went over there, and Will Kane, he some of his logic be questionable, but at the same token, he was the one that would go at somebody like Stephen A. Smith. He kind of reminded you of Skip Bayless in the sense that even though Skip had a little bit more logic to him, and then on top of that, he was a contrarian. They were both contrarians, So yeah, thank you, Scrub Zero. I appreciate you keeping me on point. I, because I was thinking about it. It's at the tip of my tongue. I actually listen to his show sometimes. His radio show when he had one, and I would like to see him because he would be the only one that would really be going besides Skip that would go unless you had other guests on the show that would really challenge Stephen A. Smith's notion to a lot of things. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. Um, I'll thank y'all for tuning in. Um, yeah, what's up, Jersey Deep? Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to our Jersey Deep channel. But yeah, hit that like, sub, comment, notification, do all that good stuff. Till then, man, it's Polo Sports Talking ENT, man. I will get at y'all later.